7th Standard, Term 2, Lesson number 2, Mughal Empire. 7th Standard, History, Term 2, Lesson 2, Mughal Empire. Now in this lesson, we are going to see about the foundation and establishment of Mughal Empire in India. Then the administrative and religious policies of the Mughal rulers and knowledge about the cultural contributions of the Mughals. About this, we are going to see in this lesson. The new empire began in India with the arrival of the Mughal king Babur. Next to the Babur, his son Humayun. Humayun's son Akbar, Akbar's son Jahangir, Jahangir's son Shah Jahan, and Shah Jahan's son Aurangzeb. That we are going to see in this lesson. After 6 great Mughal emperors, the empire began to disintegrate. Now about first Babur. Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur, popularly known as Babur. His full name was Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur. He was known as Babur. Was the founder of the Mughal Empire in India. The term Mughal can be traced to Babur's ancestors. Babur was the great grandson of Taimur. Babur was born on 14th February 1483. Babur established himself as the ruler of Kabul with a great struggle for 100 years. Foundation of the Mughal Empire. In 1505, Babur led his first expedition towards India. Babur did not have any ambition beyond Punjab till 1524. So he did not have any idea for coming to the Punjab till beyond Punjab till 1524. But he had a great opportunity. That is, Daulat Khan Lodi's son and Alam Khan was the uncle of Sultan of Delhi, arrived in Kabul to seek Babur's help in removing Ibrahim Lodi from power. So Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the famous Battle of Panipat in 1564. So the first Battle of Panipat occurred between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. Finally, Ibrahim Lodi defeated by Babur in 1526 at Battle of Panipat. And finally, Babur occupied Delhi and Agra. Following Babur's victory in his battle, Mughal dynasty came to be established in India with Agra as its capital. Then, Babur's military conquest. Babur defeated Rana Sanga in 1527, Sanderi ruler in 1528, Bihar ruler in 1529, and finally Babur died in 1530. So Babur captured Rana Sanga in 1527, Sanderi ruler in 1528, that is Rana Sanga was the ruler of Kanwa. He defeated Kanwa ruler Rana Sanga in 1527, then Chanderi ruler in 1528, Bihar ruler in 1529. Finally, he died in 1530. Babur was a scholar in Turkish and Persian languages. He recorded his impressions about Hindustan, its animals, plants and trees, and flowers and fruits in his autobiography Tuziki Babari. So Tuziki Babari was written by Babur. In his autobiography, he recorded about Hindustan, animals, plants, trees, flowers and fruits. Now we are going to see about Humayun. Humayun was the son of Babur. He ruled from 1530 to 1540 and 1555 to 1556. Humayun's brothers Kamran, Hindal and Askari fought with Babur and got a province each. Humayun also had other rivals, and notable among them was the Afghan Shah Sur, the ruler of Bihar and Bengal. Shah Sur was the name of the ruler. He was the ruler of Bihar and Bengal. So Babur fought with Humayun fought with, sorry, not Babur. Humayun fought with Afghan ruler Shah. Shah defeated Humayun at Chauza in 1539 and again at Kannauj in 1540. Humayun defeated and overthrown, had to fleet. Fleet it means escaped. So Humayun escaped to Iran with the help of Persian ruler. Humayun succeeded in recapturing Delhi in 1555 and later on, that is finally, he died in 1556 when he fell down the stairs of his library in Delhi. Now we'll see about Akbar. He ruled from 1556 to 1605. He was a son of Humayun. When he was crowned as the king, his age was 14 years. On behalf of Akbar, Humayun's trusted general Bairam Khan became the guardian of Akbar. Hemu, he belonged from the Sur dynasty. He was a general of Sur dynasty. He captured Agra and Delhi in 1556. So, Bairam Khan could not tolerate about the Hemu's occupation of Agra and Delhi. So Bairam Khan wanted to defeat Hemu in the second battle of Panipat, that is in 1556. In the second battle of Panipat occurred between Hemu and Bairam Khan. Bairam Khan defeated Hemu and killed in the second battle of Panipat. Battle of Haldigati, that is occurred in 1576. In the Battle of Haldigati, Akbar defeated Uday Singh's son Rana Pratap. Then Akbar captured the areas like Mewar, Chittor, Ranthambore, Kandahar, Kashmir, Kabul, Berar, Kandesh and Ahmednagar. Akbar died in 1605. Akbar's religious policy. Akbar, realizing that the gains of affection would be more gains than of the sword. He abolished the jizya. Jizya is the name of the tax on non-Muslims and the tax on Hindu pilgrims. He abolished the tax like jizya tax and also Hindu pilgrim tax, also abolished by Akbar. He married a girl of a noble Rajput family. He appointed Rajput nobles to important and top position in his empire. Raja Man Singh of Jaipur was sent as the governor of Kabul once. Akbar treated all religious groups fairly with generosity of spirit. So Akbar gave importance to the all religious people. The Sufi saint Salim Sisti and Sikh Guru Ram Das received Akbar's utmost respect and regard. In Ibadat Khana, a hall in the new Fatehpur Sikri city. Ibadat Khana is the name of the hall which is in the Fatehpur Sikri city, which was constructed by Akbar. Scholars of all religions met for a meeting in the hall, that is in the Ibadat Khana hall. Contribution to culture. Akbar was a great patron of learning. His personal library had more than 4,000 manuscripts. He patronized scholars. He encouraged authors such as Abul Fazl, Abul Faizi and Abdur Rahman Khani Khanam, Birbal, Raja Todarmal, Raja Bhagwan Das and Raja Mansingh. These are the persons, that is scholars authors were encouraged by the Akbar, the great composer and musician Tansen, and the artist Daswant adorned Akbar's court. Now we'll see about Jahangir. Jahangir was the son of Akbar. Akbar was succeeded by Prince Salim, that is Nuruddin Muhammad Jahangir. Meaning is conqueror of the world. Jahangir was more interested in art and painting and gardens and flowers than in running the government. So Jahangir's wife Mehernisha, known as Noor Jahan, was the real power behind the throne. Jahangir ordered the execution of Sikh leader Guru Arjun because Guru Arjun helped his son Kushru. Kushru created the problems in the ruling time of Jahangir. So, Jahangir got angry on Sikh leader, that is Sikh leader Guru Arjun helped Kushru because Kushru created problem in the ruling time of Jahangir. So Jahangir got angry on the Guru Arjun who contested for the throne. That is Kushru contested for the throne. This resulted in a prolonged fight between the Sikhs and the Mughals. As a result of these problems, the Mughals had a lost control over the trade routes to Afghanistan, Persia, and Central Asia. Jahangir granted trading rights to the Portuguese and later to the English. Thomas Roe, a representative of King James I of England, visited Jahangir's court, and this agreement paved the way for the British people establishing their first factory in Surat. Now we'll see about Shah Jahan. He ruled from 1627 to 1658. Prince Khurram, that is Shah Jahan, after a struggle for power, he succeeded his father Jahangir. Shah Jahan ruled for 30 years. He led a campaign against Ahmednagar, Bijapur, Golconda. Saji Bhonsle, Shivaji's father, entered the service of the Deccan kingdoms and trained bands of Maratha soldiers, that is group of Maratha soldiers, to fight against the Mughals. Shah Jahan was intolerant towards other religions than Islam. Shah Jahan fell ill in 1657 and a war of succession broke out among his four sons. Aurangzeb emerged successful after killing his three brothers, Dara, Suja, and Murad. So these were the name of the brothers of Aurangzeb. Shah Jahan passed the last 8 years of his life as a prisoner in the Shah Burj of Agra fort. Now we'll see about the Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb put his father Shah Jahan in the prison and he became the ruler. He assumed the title Alamgir, that is the conqueror of the world. He was the last ruler of the Mughals. He ruled for 48 years. He was no lover of arts like his grandfather Jahangir and architecture like his father Shah Jahan. So he did not concentrate on art and architecture like his grandfather and father. He tolerated no religion excepting Islam. He reimposed the jizya tax on Hindus. Between 1658 and 1681, Aurangzeb remained in the north and suppressed the revolt of Bandelas, Jats, Satnamis, and Sikhs. Aurangzeb's expansion in the northeast resulted in the war with the Assam, etc. The kingdom came under repeated attacks of the Mughals. The Mughal administration. Central administration. The Mughals provided a stable administration in the larger parts of India. The emperor was the supreme head of the Mughal administrative system. He was the lawyer, that is, king was the lawyer, the chief executive, and the chief commander in chief of the army. He was assisted by the Council of Ministers. The most important officials were the Vakil. Vakil, it means like in Prime Minister, and Wazir or Diwan, that is in charge of the revenue and expenditure. Mir Bakse was in the charge of the army. The Mir Saman looked after the royal household. The Qazi was the chief judge. Satr us Sudr was the Minister of Islamic Law, that is Shariat Law. This is the central administration. Then provincial administration, that is like state administration. The empire was divided into several subas, that is states or provinces. Each suba was under the control of an officer called Subedar. The subas were further divided into district called sarkas. The sarkas were subdivided into parganas. Then a group of villages formed a pargana. Now come to the local administration. The towns and cities were administered by kotwals. Kotwals maintained law and order. The administration of villages was left in the hands of local village panchayat. The panchayat dispensed justice. Army about the in the Mughal administration. The Mughal army comprised infantry, cavalry, war elephants and artillery. The emperor maintained a large number of trained and well-trained, well-armed bodyguards and palace guards. Now we'll see about the Mansabdari system. Mansabdar, it means rank. According to this system, the nobles, civil and military officials were combined to form one single services. A Mansabdar was a holder of such a rank. Mansabdar rank was dependent on Jat and Savar. Savar was the number of horses and horsemen he had to maintain. His salary was fixed on the basis of the number of soldiers. The Mansabdars were paid high salary by the emperor. Before receiving the salary, the Mansabdar had to present his horsemen for his inspection. The Mansabdar has to inspect the horsemen. The emperor could use the troops maintained by the Mansabdar whenever he wished. The rank of Mansabdar was not hereditary during Akbar's time, but after him it became hereditary. Now we'll see about the land revenue of administration. Land revenue administration was vigorous up during the reign of Akbar. Raja Todarmal, revenue minister of Akbar, adapted and refined the system introduced by Sher Shah. According to the land revenue system, after a survey, lands were classified according to the nature and fertility of the soil. The share of the state was fixed at 1/3 of the average produce for 10 years. So the land people or the farmers has to pay the tax as 1/3 of the average produce for 10 years once. The collection of the revenue of an area and the power of governing it were used for military or civil officials, now named Jahirdar. Each Mansabdar was a Jahirdar. The Jahirdar collected the revenue through his own officials. So through the Mansabdar, the officers, that is Jahirdar, collected the revenue. Those appointed to collect the revenue from the land holders were called Jamindars. So from the Jagidas, the Jamindars used to collect the revenue. Jamindars collected taxes and maintained law and order with the help of Mughal officials and soldiers. The local chieftains and the kings were called as Jamindars. The Jamindars were empowered to maintain troops for the purpose of collecting revenue. The emperor granted lands to scholars, holy men, and religious institutions. These lands called Suyurgal were tax free. So the emperor granted the lands to the landholders. The emperor granted lands to the scholars. These lands were tax free lands. Religious policy of the Mughal administration or religious policy in the Mughal administration. The Mughal emperors were the followers of Islam. Akbar was very liberal in his religious policy. Akbar tried to include the good principles in all religions and formulated them into one single faith called Din Ilahi, that is divine faith. Art and architecture of the Mughals. Babur introduced the Persian style of architecture of India by building many structures at Agra, Dholpur and Gwalior. The Diwani-e-Am, Panch Mahal, Rang Mahal, Salim Sisti's Dome, Bulandarwaza were built during Akbar's time. Jahangir completed the Akbar's dome at Chikandra and the beautiful building containing the dome of Itmat-ud-Dawla at Agra. Shah Jahan's famous peacock throne, covered with expensive jewels, was made for the emperor to sit on. So on the peacock throne that was made by the very expensive jewels, and on the peacock throne the emperor had to sit on. Then rose the world famous Taj Mahal by side of the Yamuna river at Agra. Then he built the Moti Masjid, that is Shah Jahan built the Moti Masjid, Jama Masjid, Diwani Khas and Diwani-e-Am in his palace in Delhi.